was drafted is another guy that I'm fairly high on. It's Amari Rodgers from Clemson. I'll let you discuss him first and what you think about Rodgers.
I'm not nearly as high on Rodgers as the consensus. I think a lot of people saw him when he went to Green Bay. I think everybody has just been so ready for the Green Bay Packers to have another wide receiver inserted in the draft, and we've just been anticipating and anticipating. But, I really don't think Amari Rodgers profiles as the number two wide receiver. And the fact that the situation is so up in the air to say the least. I'm not projecting that Rodgers is going to be there long term. And if that's the case, is Jordan Love going to be able to support another wide receiver? And are we even sure that Amari Rodgers is better than Alan Lazard? Is Devin Funchess the guy that they went out and got in free agency to be their number two wide receiver going into last year before he opted out? He's back on the roster as well, and he's only 27 years old. I think people are really forgetting about Devin Funchess, to be honest with you. This is a guy that has already been a top 20 wide receiver in his career. So I think that there's a lot more competition in Green Bay than a lot of people are giving them credit for. And the Rodgers situation really makes me uneasy. Amari Rodgers has some talent. I just don't think he's anything special. I just think that he's at best a middle level starter in the NFL. And I don't see much of a window of him being much higher, especially as long as Devontae Adams is on that team. Because I just don't see the target share. I mean, it's a team that clearly wants to run the ball as much as possible. So I'm not nearly as high on Amari Rodgers. I know a lot of people are. People are taking him in mid-second rounds now. And I think that that's a mistake. I don't even think he was the best wide receiver coming out of Clemson from the tape stuff that I watched.
Those are good points, and there's a reason as to why I say fairly high. It's because I have a lot of the same reservations that you do, but and I'm genuinely concerned about Aaron Rodgers and the future in Green Bay with the quarterback situation, but I have to look back at Amari Rodgers' talent and what he did in his last year in Clemson, and what he did was ball out, in my opinion. 77 receptions, 1,020 yards, 7 touchdowns. Yes, he had Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball, but still, in a shortened season, these are very impressive numbers. And Amari Rodgers is a guy that has pretty much been undervalued this entire process.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's going to Green Bay. People are high on him. And I'm not high on him because he's going to Green Bay. I'm more high on him because of the talent and the potential that I see. And I do think that he has the potential to be the number 2 receiver in Green Bay, and that's a good gig, because even if Aaron Rodgers is not there in the long term, they still have an excellent head coach in Matt LaFleur, and they still have a quarterback in Jordan Love, and we haven't seen much from Jordan Love, so we can't make a lot of assumptions. But he's still a first round pick in a quarterback that has a lot of potential. People were comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, and he was more of a quarterback that just needed to be developed. So I think that there's a good chance that Jordan Love could turn into a successful quarterback if the Packers end up not having Rodgers under center. So I think that Jordan Love isn't a terrible option there, and Lazard and Funchess all could be a number 2 receiver in that offense, but I think long term that Amari Rodgers is the better prospect for me. So that is why I tend to be a little bit higher on Amari Rodgers